Hello everyone and welcome back to my little channel, The Grim Reader. I'm Kathy Grimm, the Grim Reader, and here to give you a reading etc. update. Looks like I'm kind of going into a bi-weekly thing as opposed to a weekly thing, which I think is fine. First of all, I don't finish things so quickly, so there's that. And just in terms of getting the desire to actually make a video, it's taking longer just because and now I'm getting busy getting ready for a new semester, which will start next week. No, over next week, sorry. A week from this coming Monday. We go back at the end of January because we have a short January term that some people take classes and teach in, which not me. I need the whole break. So it seems to me, so this year and last year January is the month of weird or slightly uncomfortable medical procedures, because last January, and I know this, from remembering and also from my 5-year diary, I had the tongue biopsy incident. And I actually did make a video about that I took down just because I think it's just it's one of those things, whenever you mention it to someone, people kind of like go, oh, painful. And it was not the actual thing, but the aftermath. Although I was reading about some people who'd had surgery on the same joint that I had surgery on 7 years ago now. Well, almost 7 years, because it was the end of the year, so 6. The toe joint, and they were going on about how they had no pain afterwards. So I'm beginning to think I am I was in a lot of pain after my toe surgery. Anyway, I digress, per usual. So this time it was a preventive colonoscopy, and we all know that they're not pleasant, mainly because of what you have to do beforehand, which I won't go into great detail, don't worry. But it's also just not being allowed to eat for a whole day was a bit of a downer, or at least I had to, I was hungry. But it meant that the next day the coffee was especially yummy, and food was good when you come home from it all. And they did find a few things, but nothing too scary. I don't think I'm gonna find out if there's anything bad, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. I think it's fine. And so that happened this week on Wednesday. And let me just get into what else. Yeah, my reading has been kind of interesting. So Tom Jones is going. I am like everyone else, 2025. All these distractions mean that having the energy to read this kind of work, and I don't think my brain is that good at taking in the 18th century English, although it's not that hard, but I have to sort of keep going at it, and I'm enjoying it. But maybe because I listened to Clarissa and read along, but the reading, the way it was done, it had different voices for the main people. And I would look at the book too, so I kind of feel like I read bits of it, but I mainly did listen to it, and I enjoyed it more. I don't think it's entirely just because I was listening to it. It was more just the way that it is so psychological, whereas Tom Jones is more, it's a farce, it's funny. He goes from here to there, but in terms of the actually getting into and there are some scenes where his humanity comes through, but then there are scenes that are sort of wacky and funny, and he's obviously, it's more from a male point of view, so he has dalliances with this one lady here and now where I'm at the sort of end, not real end yet. She's sort of a villainous lady, and she seduces him and stuff like that. So it's just a different vibe from something like Richardson's Clarissa. And I shouldn't keep comparing the two, except I do it because, I guess this was sort of written as a response to Clarissa. I should show you the cover. I have my actually, I really like having a little ruler and a pen on top of my books, just for when I want to make little notes, but I want to show you the cover. So there we go. So that's going well. I have a nice schedule that Kim made for us that I'm sticking to, and it does feel a little bit like homework, but if I didn't have the schedule, it's sort of like I read as much as I have to, and I try to keep ahead. Today's Friday, and I'm almost finished with the entry for Saturday, which is good. And it's good. It's funny, but it's not quite as, I don't know. It's not as, for me, it's not going to be as much of a favorite as something like Clarissa was, but that's okay. It's still good. And I am still reading the long form, which I don't even know where my copy of that. Oh, it's in the other place, by Kate Briggs, except that kind of is the next thing. When I've done, like, I think now, maybe even after the video, I'll go and read a bit of that. We'll see. Or maybe more of Tom Jones. We'll see. And then, let's see, I have finished 2 audiobooks in the meantime. So those are the 2 books I finished for the year. And I'll put in a little visual here. The first one was a mystery, and I forgot, I don't know when it was published. I don't think that long ago. Although it's in a series of of mysteries. The main private eye is called Atticus Priest, which the name, I like the name, and I don't even know how I got onto this guy, Mark Dawson, a British crime writer who I guess started at least as self-publishing, and so I think this is what I was doing. I remember looking around on audio for books narrated by my favorite, Simon Vance. That's what I was doing, and I found it. And I think it may even have been free. Like, it was already there for some reason. So with Audible, my husband has the only account, and I kind of, when I want a book, I go tell him to buy this book. But a lot of stuff is free on there too, or like it's included in your membership. And of course, these days we should stop. I won't even talk about what's bad about Audible, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. So this first one, the first one is called The House in the Woods. And he's the private detective who has had to do that because he was kicked off the force for stuff. And he has a relationship to the main detective in the book, her name is Mackenzie Jones. And so I won't go into details because you know me, I don't really give you a lot of plot stuff. Sorry. But it was good. It was good. The writing's quite strong, and the characterization was not bad. It takes place kind of present day, almost, maybe a little bit, not quite present day. It's a little bit dated, but not much. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm bad with dates with it. To me, it read like, I'm sorry to be so dismissive of these things, but it reads like, something you'd read on a plane when you don't want to be challenged. Or that you watch on television. That it's a good sort of Netflix show, but as a book. And so I think I ended up giving it 4 stars because it was sort of, it held my interest and I kind of got into it. I didn't like the ending. I mean, for me, mysteries often the endings disappoint me. I don't know why. I'm not a mystery person. And it wasn't bad, but it was figuring out what exactly was going on was, I don't know. It wasn't completely satisfying either, but I think I still gave it 4 stars, which is a little unfair to the next one. So that was Mark Dawson. That was my first read of the year. It was fine. My second listen, these are both just listens. I don't have these books, which is a sign that they're not as high, they're not in my heart as much as some other books are that I both listen and read, or have copies of at least. And that was, it is better than the first one, more interesting, I think, more substantial as a work of fiction. And it's Christopher Priest. I'm on this thing where, okay, we have a character called Atticus Priest, and then we have the author called Christopher Priest, who I think is known as science fiction or fantasy from maybe a while ago. And it's The Prestige. And I'll put a picture up here. And so this is quite fun. It's fun if you like magician stuff, if you like steampunk, like late Victorian, turn of the century vibes, dark academia almost, kind of a bit spooky, but sort of neo-Gothic. I think I've seen that term reference. And it was turned into a movie by Christopher Nolan, which makes me think I wouldn't mind seeing the movie. I think we may have watched part of it. I remember seeing some of it, but I didn't know the whole plot. And it's these 2 dueling magicians, and there is a frame narrative, how we get to these people. And it all hinges on their kind of magic conjuring acts that they have. And of course, there's sort of, secrets that I won't reveal. And in general, it was good. it didn't, as we say in German, push me off my stool with its greatness. It was more like, this is good and well written and well thought out. The plot, it's a plot heavy book. It hinges on the secrets. And so in a certain sense, it's sort of like some people say, oh, it's like a magician's trick too. There's a lot of sort of obfuscation of stuff, so you don't understand what's really happening because that's what magicians do, blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of interesting. I think, I'm not sure if the whole plot stuff completely worked, the big secret sort of stuff. And there is one thing that I have to go back and check if it's either not a gap in the actual plot or I've just forgotten how it was resolved. See, these things of how do we get from A to B and was it actually addressed? A lot of times in not so great movies or TVs, I'll say, Bill, pause it. I have to say something or ask a question and it's, how did we get from here to here? Is it just an oversight or is it a gap in the writing? Or, there's a lot of playing fast and loose with plausibility in these shows that we watch. And sometimes when you're just in it for the ride, you just don't care, which is a sign that it's good in a certain sense. And then there's other things that are just more annoying, which reminds me, maybe I'll talk a little bit about some of at least a couple of the TV shows we're watching, because there's some interesting ones there too. So that was more like a solid 4-star. I mean, if I could do more nuanced rankings, I would say maybe I'll even take they're both 4. It's just that I think Into the Woods is more like 3.5. The House in the Woods is 3.5, and the Prestige is the actual 4. And it was published in 1995 by Priest to a lot of kind of acclaim, I guess. People really liked it. And it's not bad. It's not bad. That's the best I can do when I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's not great. It's not great. It's not my grade. It's a lot of other people's grade. We know that. Let me see what else is there going on. So I've talked about what I'm reading. And then let me tell you a bit about some acquisitions. My book cart is sort of coming. It's really quite fun to put things on there, even if it's from the back here and I have, have to sort of play around with space. But I like it. So far, most of the things on there are just things that I have. But I did get a couple of books today that I wanted to show you. And it has to do with my new audio. That's the first thing I'll talk about. So my new audio, I think, is going to be my first 5-star of the year. And I started listening to The Corner That Held Them by Sylvia Townsend Warner, which was all about a fictional abbey or nunnery in the 14th century. So that doesn't sound so exciting, but this is fantastic. I just love it so much. I like medieval stuff. I like medieval stuff that focuses on women. And so this is just, I think I'm going to like this more than I like Lolly Willows. And I like Lolly Willows a lot, but the whole devil thing was like, okay. not that I have that much against the devil. I'm not religious. But anyway, this is even better. And it's just so interesting to me because I was thinking about how it's not very religious. It's about these people as people. Of course, the religion and the medieval mindset is sort of, it's all kind of one thing back then. And she's really good at like kind of talking about it in this way as if these are actual living people from the 14th century, from the 1300s. And the writing is magnificent. I'm just so in love with it already. I'm only on about page 67. But I love how she's just really describing the history of this place through the people that live there, the nuns that live there. And the nuns themselves are kind of, her point of view, her narrative point of view is really, really interesting. It sort of goes into certain people's thoughts and then it comes back out and it's more like omniscient, and then it goes back into other people's thoughts. But it's stellar writing, I can tell. And I think it's just my jam. I just love this kind of stuff. And I found an online article, and if I find it again, I'll link it, that was talking about this novel in connection with a newer novel, which I've always kind of been interested in because I'm interested in this stuff, and which I mistakenly thought was about Hildegard von Bingen, but of course it's not, because that's not Hildegard. It's what's her name? Whitby. Saint Hilda Whitby, early Middle Ages pivotal figure. And this is by my new favorite person because she's just so cool. She does everything. Nicola Griffith, who was in a band when she was young, and if I'm not mistaken, she does something else, writes poetry as well. She's like, does a lot of things, and has written a lot of books. I think this is her first one that I've come across, but it turns out she has a backlist looks interesting too. Really interesting British writer who I think now lives here in the States. I'm not sure, with her partner, who's also a writer actually. What was her name? Allison. Looks like a really interesting writer. More something called slipstream, sort of avant-garde type of writing. Anyway, I digress. But I'm really looking forward to this. I think I really will love it. Also, I've decided that this whatever you call this color, teal, is my color of the year. I'm doing my own Pantone. Who cares about the brown that they chose? Which I actually don't mind, the brown. I'm not that into the whole Pantone thing. That's just because I think it was last year or whatever, I decided the green, like actual greens were my color. Like a green, like a grass green or dark green, not olive though, like greens. But this year I'm all about the beautiful teals. That's my color. It's just so silly, but I do love this cover and the color. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is just a new purchase that I got because I read the article and they reference this one a lot. It's like the old one about old stuff and the newer one about old stuff. And I would say one last thing I wanted to say about those two books is that I started, and I even already have given away my copy of Lauren Groff's The Matrix, about the French medieval person, Eleanor Aquitaine. No, someone else who wrote poems. No, not that's a queen. Someone else. Anyway, I started that and I didn't like it. I don't know why. Why didn't I not like that one? I almost want to have it in my hands and see why I didn't like it. And this is giving me exactly what I thought that would give me. This is the sort of the writing and the point of view. I thought that would be more like this, which is so weird. It was, I don't know why it bugged me, or it didn't bug me that much. I just wasn't that into the writing for some reason. Maybe it's just I don't know. So tell me if you've read I think it's called The Matrix, the Lauren Groff novel. I know she's so prolific. She already has another one out, and there's other ones of hers, and that's the only one I've tried. And it's always I'm a bit of a hit or miss, that I leave them, mainly because I have so many other things I want to read. Life's too short type thing. But I feel like bad that if I don't like something by someone that I kind of give up on them already, maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't know. Let me show you this other book that I got. It was a bit of an investment, but what the heck? It is kind of a big book. What was I thinking? I was thinking this is a book that I want, and I don't care. I'm going to pay the price. I guess it's for Harvard University Press, and it's by this person called Charles Taylor, who has written a number of big books, and apparently this is connected to an earlier book called The Language, Animals, Sources of the Self, The Ethics of Authenticity. But I'm hoping he is also the person who wrote a book that I'm familiar with called, where he goes through all the different identity things, and it's called Sources of Self. I'm pretty sure this is the same guy. And it's like a seminal work. He goes through all the chapters talking about how people over the years have structured or thought about identity and subjectivity. Subjectivity is what I'm looking for. And I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. Anyway, I wanted to get this book called Cosmic Connections, Poetry in the Age of Disenchantment, because I'm interested in the cosmic connections in our age of disenchantment. Extremely disenchantment. And also it talks a lot about romanticism. My people, Schiller, Novalis, all my guys, but in a kind of way that I can handle. It's not going to be it's not sort of poem or anything. And I hope I can get into it. Oh, he talks about Rilke, who am I interested in too. So yes, reacting to the fall of cosmic orders that were at once metaphysical and moral, the Romantics used the symbols and music of poetry to recover contact with reality beyond fragmented existence, etc., etc. So it's sort of almost like probably the people who I did my dissertation with would all hate this book because it's kind of going back to the more traditional idea that the Romantics were about cosmic connections, like actual cosmic connections. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I thought I wanted to have it and read chunks of it here and there and tell you about it when I do. Remembering that I did dip into another strange sort of easy theory, because I can't do hard theory anymore because I'm not really a scholar or anything. But I had this book on my shelf and I put it on the trolley, and then when you have it on the trolley, you tend to be like, oh, let me pick this up. And this is just an introduction to semiotics. Why study science? This perennial question of philosophy is answered in the 20th century by the science of semiotics. Of course, anything can be a sign. Animals cry, poetry, medical symptoms. And I was just studying it, and it's already fascinating, like stuff that I didn't really, I've forgotten or never really thought about that much. The idea that the first sort of study of signs were symptoms. Medical symptoms were considered signs, talking about the prehistory of semiotics. So people like Plato and Aristotle and the Epicureans and Augustine a little bit, and then he jumps to some other people, and then he jumps to Saussure, which is where you really get started with science stuff, linguistics. And Saussure is interesting because he's the first one to kind of posit that you can study linguistics in a synchronic way as opposed to a diachronic or historical way, that you look at language, different languages at a certain moment in time as opposed to over time, etc., 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 etc. And so I like it. And the thing is, I am kind of reading it and then Googling things and just sort of checking my knowledge of things. And in a certain sense, it might be the precursor to me trying to get back into The Name of the Rose and Umberto Eco in general, because I just feel like I should like that stuff. And I remembered once trying it when I didn't know about the whole where Umberto was coming from with Name of the Rose, and I just thought it was boring. I think I want to try it again, or another one. Tell me if you think I would prefer another one. I think I've asked Jason. I know Jason is a big Umberto Eco fan. Anyway, so that was just something that's the fun thing about having a little book, sort of set of books over there that you can just sort of look at and pick up. So that's that. And we're at 22 minutes, which is already too long. Oh yeah, TV shows. Well, we went back and we decided to watch Squid Game, which I really like, even though, see, they're the implausibility of it, and I don't know who of my viewers has watched it, to me is the simple fact that, and I understand why it has to be that way, is that you get caught up in the game aspects of it and not in the fact that wouldn't these people be completely traumatized by what is going on? Like, how would you be able to even function, let alone like strategize and make group friends and whatever, and all the stuff they end up doing. And that's the whole point of it, is a certain sense that, yeah, that's it, that you kind of get callous and dehumanized and you become a little, that's the only way, the compartmentalization of the trauma that they must do every time or every moment. I mean, it's sort of unrealistic and implausible that anyone could just kind of be so callous as to just keep going. And they bring in their little coffins with the ribbons. Sorry, but it's just kind of like, but it's really quite well done and just very riveting with the Escher like aspects of them walking around the little place that they live in. So we're enjoying Squid Game. We're also enjoying quite a lot the HBO series of My Brilliant Friend, which is making us reconnect. We both listened to that one. Only listen. This was a while ago. I didn't end up buying the books. Maybe I should have. But we really enjoyed listening to them. And it takes you a while because it's quite long. And now the TV version is really very good and very well acted. The actresses of the two women are just phenomenally good. So we're enjoying that. And tonight we'll probably, well, at some point soon we'll watch season 2 of Severance, which is great. We like Severance 1 very much. And then there's something else. Well, we started watching a silly show. I don't know if you know this. It's called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like a silly, one of those ensemble comedy shows of a police precinct in New York City, I guess. And Sandberg is his name, the main guy, and he's married to the singer, right? He's married to, oh my gosh, she had that great song, and I'm blanking on her name because I'm having senior moments. And I think that's about it for now. And that's 25 minutes of me blabbing about stuff. So I'll load this up. Thank you all for watching. Tell me what you're reading, and I'll see you soon.